All right, this is Sean Ray from musculardevelopment.com. We've come to the conclusion of the first anniversary of the Arnold Classic in Australia. And right over my shoulder here, we have the champions from each division taking photographs with the fans that signed up for the VIP. You got Dexter Jackson, who won 5 times at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, comes all the way to land down under to win the first anniversary of the Arnold Classic, along with Kamala McClure, who won last week at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, and Janet Leone, who came on with the upset victory here. And very long night, I gotta say. I got off the plane and landed here in Australia and came straight to the expo and straight to the bodybuilding prejudging and the finals. Arnold Schwarzenegger presented Paul Graham, the president of the IFBB of bodybuilding in Australia, with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Branch Warren put up all he could to try to get that title from Dexter Jackson, was just holding a little bit too much water for the blade. And in third place, you had Justin Compton for the second straight weekend in a row at 26 years young, walk off with the third place. Roly Winkler was 6th place. Who was in 5th place? Brandon Curry, that's right. Soul Brother #1, former Mr. USA champion and Brazilian Arnold Classic champion, moved up into 5th place. And speaking of the results, let's bring in the training guru, Hani Rambad. Find out how you saw this contest. Was it pretty much what we saw at the prejudging?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was pretty much what we saw in the morning. It basically came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, the 50% that we saw in the morning pretty much carried over. It was only a couple hours difference. The bodybuilders didn't change all that much. Any disappointments? I know one surprise was that Brandon Curry did come on strong and wind up in 5th place.
Yeah, I believe that his shape carried him.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And I think that, I think the whole thing with the mandate about, hey, you got to make sure you got the gut check.
Yeah,
the gut check. I call it the gut check mandate.
Yeah,
it was put in place, and you saw, I think, Roly come down to 6 because of it. And some people probably thought that he could have went down a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, I think that with the competition that we had here today, it turned out okay.
Do you think that hurt a guy like Big Ben Pakulski, because he had certain body parts that were good, but in transition the stomach just wasn't working to his favor?
Yeah, I think that they're going to just be really looking at things like this now. So you got to be able to make sure you keep that gut in, and you got to be able to make sure you're able to not get to the point where you're eating so much during your carb up, the dissension is going to end up hurting you. So
absolutely.
I think the warning flares have been shot out.
Yep, and I think guys will be paying attention. Let's bring on your prodigy over here, the 26-year-old Justin Compton, fresh off of backstage. Justin, 2 shows back-to-back. The first time you've ever actually done that, correct?
Yeah, it's actually the first time doing 2 shows like this.
And your first time in Australia, how did it feel getting up here and, still rubbing elbows with the big boys, making a name for yourself?
I was a little worried, just because it was an international, it was a 24-hour flight, and I was kind of worried how my body was going to respond to it, but I actually think I brought a better package this weekend than I did last weekend.
I was talking to Hani earlier about, you're so young and so fresh on the pro scene. Any mistakes you make are going to be huge on the grand stage, which would be common mistakes, trying to find out the right formula, the right consistency of water and carbs and traveling. What would be your biggest lesson that you learned coming from the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio here after you've gotten these 2 competitions under your belt?
I really didn't change a whole lot, I just kind of scaled the carbs down just a little bit. Like, I kind of had some different opinions, got some, everyone had, get a little bit different opinion. A couple of people told me they'd like to see me come down a couple of pounds. So I was around 247, I think I was 247 I left the hotel room. I think in Columbus I was 252, so about 5 pounds tighter this weekend, and, so just tone the carbs down just a little bit.
Well, you're gaining a lot of fans very quickly, and I know they all want me to ask this question. What's next for you?
I have no idea. I knew that was coming, but I have no idea. This was, plan A was Columbus, plan B was not really plan B. It was part of plan A. It was to come to Australia, and, we've achieved those goals. I competed in, 2 Arnold Classics, and I don't know. I'm going to New Zealand next weekend, and I haven't thought about a plan B. I just want to sit back for a week or 2, enjoy life, enjoy some food, and, think and go from there.
All right, well, we look forward to hear the breaking news. When you finally do make up your mind what's next, come on the MD boards or MD radio and let us know what's happening.
All right, we'll do.
All right, Justin Compton here in Australia. And as the champions continue to take the photographs with the judges and their fans, we're going to wrap things up here in Melbourne for the first anniversary of the Arnold Sports Festival weekend. For promoter Tony Doherty, I'm Sean Ray, musculardevelopment.com.